Value turnover 6.9 billion, 117 decliners outnumbering 70 advancers. And joining us now for more in the markets, let's bring in Sandra Araullo, Chief Investment Officer of ATR Asset Management. Hi, Sandra. Good to see you. Welcome back to Market Edge.
Hello, Mimi. Good afternoon to everyone.
All right. Good afternoon. We are looking at some modest losses today, coming after all 3 days of selling already. What jumps out for you about this market?
Well, we were all listening to yesterday's SONA, and I think the market has been digesting a lot of what was communicated and what was not said as well. We found that the SONA was very execution focused. Less talk about any structural reforms and more about delivering tangible outcomes. You know, from 20 peso per kilo rice to fixing school internet to kidney transplants even. The message that the president wanted to put forth was clear, and that is government is taking action. And so markets will see this as stabilizing, but we need a supportive Congress. No? So we're also watching how all these promises get funded. And that's where the tension lies.
There you go. It's all about the details. The devil is in the details. What do you think about gaming? His silence on e-gaming proved golden for the likes of DigiPlus, yesterday up 19%, today up by another 12%. Is this a good thing?
Yeah, so yes, you're right, no? Silence speaks volumes. So there was no outright ban that was mentioned, and as we've seen, it's been offering some short-term relief for these online gambling operators. But we should remember that silence doesn't necessarily mean safety. For now, the issue is likely to move to Congress, and so overhang remains. For investors, it's still a wait-and-see sector, which means trade cautiously until we see clear legislative direction.
All right. Sandra, just wanted to share, we actually have this just in. Speaking of e-gaming, news after the President's State of the Nation address, the Philippines eyeing more regulations for online gaming. These are remarks from Finance Secretary Ralph Recto at the sidelines of a post-SONA assessment by the economic team today. It came after several lawmakers and groups questioned why the President seemingly sidestepped the issue, which is facing greater scrutiny in his annual address yesterday. Secretary Recto says those options include hiking fees for electronic games, limiting betting time, and even removing e-gambling links on mobile wallets. And weighing in on an outright ban, the finance chief says that might just do more harm than good. Gross gaming revenue from e-games in the Philippines amounted to a staggering 155 billion pesos last year. Let's take a listen to this.
The President is concerned with it. There will be additional regulation and possibly more revenues. My advice, do not gamble, okay? Having said that, if people do gamble, you'd rather regulate it than they go to the illegal. Today, my understanding is 60% is illegal and 40% is legal. If you ban it, 100% will become illegal. So that's where we are. So it's a balancing act.
So what do you think, Sandra? Is that what the market needs to hear?
Well, we're not surprised to hear that. It's what we're expecting, really. It's really gonna go to the legislation, to the other regulators. We do take note of an outright ban being a very small possibility. As the Secretary mentioned, it's still a source of revenue, and with all of these promises, that needs to be funded, no? So you can't deliver if you're not funding it or you're hitting the fiscal side adversely.
When you look at the broader market, though, Sandra, why don't you think the stock market is showing the President more love? I mean, if you compare where we are today, 6,300, we're exactly where we were in June 30, 2022, when President Marcos assumed office, essentially flat. And I mean, and it's not even a regional thing, because the other markets have done pretty okay. I mean, talk about Wall Street hitting record after record after record. So why What is missing here? Why is the stock market not giving him more love?
We think that there is a big overhang on generally emerging markets, no? The global uncertainties will hit your emerging markets first. So there is a dearth of foreign investors looking at the market. They can probably get the same or even better upside with less equity risk premium. That said, it is quite noticeable how long we've been languishing in very, very low market valuations, no? We are seeing, though, based on maybe assumptions of, modest 9% EPS growth for the year and very undemanding valuations of 11.7 to 12 times PE. That still puts us at 7,000. So I think it's been a confluence of things from monetary policy uncertainty out of the Fed and how it leads to our own policy uncertainty. You got inflation a little bit out of the way now, but for the last 3 years, inflation was also a big issue because of your economic scarring from the pandemic lockdowns, etc. So we also took note from the SONA that the president did. How do you say? There was a bit of a protectionist or selective protectionism, if you may, from in terms of protecting consumers, no, with the cheaper rice and some tariff tweaks. So we see it as helping near-term inflation. So it's very clear, no, from an outcome or tangible outcome standpoint, that is a priority. But it does put pressure on retailers and importers, and sustainability of these price controls is kind of the bigger question going forward. So I think the market is, there is a tension between short-term benefits and kind of the medium term, and considering maybe the other options that investors have globally, then the Philippine market is kind of not really standing out.
All right. Just very quickly on the corporate stories, Maynilad says it has secured a firm commitment from one of two intended cornerstone investors in their planned 45.8 billion peso IPO. Is the IPO story narrative still as exciting as it was at the start of the year?
We are gearing up for a possible revival of IPO interest in the market. Actually, I think that might be one of the more exciting catalysts, no? Some of these IPOs in the pipeline, the big ones. And definitely it can jolt some life into the market. So yes, it's something we're looking forward to.
We also have this from Security Bank, changing of the guard, announcing the early retirement of their EVP and CFO, Ed Olbes. We used to have him all the time when we were in the Ayala Exchange. So he's retiring, and he will be replaced by Alan Alexander Reyes, who will assume the role of CFO. And finally, Q2 earnings season underway. Are you seeing more hits or misses? You did say 9% EPS for this year. How's Q2 looking so far?
So far, it's shaping up well. I mean, it's tracking expectations. We started out with the banks. We're still seeing some. It's shaping up to be just well within expectations. I think at this point, it's really the consumer names and the conglomerates that will be leading any move up to around 7,000, if you may, as a target, no? So given the execution-focused messaging of the SONA and any momentum behind that, the sectoral tailwinds in infrastructure spending and digital rollout, and also consumer support via inflation management. So those can help align or push alignment between policy and corporate fundamentals, and that is what the market is watching.
All right, and we are watching as well. Thank you very much, Sandra, for joining us. Always a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Mimi.
All right. And time now to zip through the top headlines from major business papers and websites from Insider PH. AXA Philippines has assured customers of uninterrupted and stable services as its parent company, AXA Group, transitions following the 5.4 billion euro sale of AXA Investment Managers to global asset management giant BNP Paribas. From Business World, new vehicle sales inching up by an annual 3.6% in June as a double-digit surge in commercial vehicle sales helped offset a 35% decline in sales of passenger cars. And from the Philippine Star, the Philippines has lifted its temporary ban on the importation of poultry products from Australia after the latter declared itself free from bird flu. And now a quick look at the flash. And now a quick look at the flash business headlines from overseas. Here's an exclusive from Reuters. NVIDIA placing orders for 300,000 H2O chipsets with contract manufacturer TSMC last week, citing strong Chinese demand that had led to the U.S. firm to change its mind about just relying on its existing stockpile. The Trump administration this month allowing NVIDIA to resume sales of H2O graphics processing units, or GPUs, to China, reversing an effective ban imposed in April designed to keep advanced AI chips out of Chinese hands due to national security concerns. And Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te appearing to call off an overseas trip planned for next week after the Trump administration failed to greenlight his stopover in the U.S. amid concerns it could derail trade talks with China. And speaking of China, parents there are being offered 3,600 yuan or $500 a year for each of their children under the age of 3 in the government's first nationwide subsidy aimed at boosting birth rates. The country's birth rate has been falling ever since the ruling Communist Party abolished its controversial one-child policy almost a decade ago. The handouts are supposed to help around 20 million